Hi and welcome to the next episode of our Tech Talk here at Automechanica. My next guest is Marc Lombardi from CDR Torino. So we are now talking, we are going south actually and talking a bit about the Italian aftermarket. Hi Marc, and thanks for joining us
Christian.
Today.
Thank you very much for having.
So many of our viewers and listeners are of course know the Italian aftermarket. It's a very important market. Mm-hmm. So could you explain them a bit? Who are you actually, and what are you concretely doing with CDR Torino?
Well, I'm the commercial director for CDR Torino. I'm with them since 2019. I'm actually a Belgian, living in Italy, moved to Italy.
How did this happen?
Well, I had quite a change in personal life.
Yes.
That made that actually I went to work for what was previously my customer. I come from the lubricant business. I've had my career there, and my main customer in Italy was CDR Torino.
Ah, okay.
I felt a good environment and a good way to start a new life.
So you went client side?
I went client side, and I took the experience that I had from manufacturer to the distributor, which is the main activity of CDR Torino.
And it's cool because you know the company, you know how they're working together, so you could make a good decision.
It was quite an easy decision in that way, absolutely. And I think it helps when you come from manufacturer's side to go and support the team of a distributor so that they can in a certain way gain some insights, gain some knowledge that then they transfer to the market.
Yes. And you as an Italian, you are more experienced in on-site events because you've already been to Auto Promotech in Bologna.
Yes,
and now we have Automechanica Frankfurt. How does it feel to be in the real life again?
Well, we are very happy about this. Personally, I'm a very social person in general. So being able to really speak with people face to face, even like we're doing today, is really something that I think makes this gives this extra mile, this extra plus to a relationship.
Yes, I agree. I think the aftermarket in general is a really social industry, relying on the relations between the different people, and for them they enjoy coming together again.
Well, I really believe in that. I believe that the social aspect is that extra that we can give above the technical aspect or the pure price, delivery or other things. There is this extra layer that I don't think we should underestimate.
Yes, and it is a bit like a little family. Even though many are competitors, it's a very competitive market. But still, people know each other, they like each other, and it always feels like a big like family Christmas a bit.
It is, and sometimes you see, like even in my case, you change sites, and you go from a producer to a distributor. And yes, but you still meet the same people, and you just change shirt and you go further.
Okay, then your company CDR. You are basically a supplier mainly for lubricants, or what are you doing exactly?
Well, the main activities of CDR are spare parts distribution, concretely on the north of Italy. Lubricants distribution, we do that nationwide. That's, let's say, the two historical aspects. Lately in our project, we are going also to what is the tools, service, technical support, which is actually the third but a very young aspect of the company that we are putting in.
And you're talking about that you are mainly operating in northern Italy. So I think the Italian aftermarket is a bit special. So it is nearly divided in north and south. So what makes it different from the other markets in Europe? Because also it is like the second biggest market.
It is indeed the second biggest market in Europe. The main difference is actually the independency. So we still have, like in every market, a distributor. We have the retail level. We have the workshop level. The main difference is that the retail level is fully independent. So like we see in other markets that the retail level belongs to the distributors, it's still not the case in Italy. We have 4,500 retailers, we have 40,000 workshops, independent aftermarket workshops. So the market is big, but very fragmented and very small persons, small realities. So putting something from down the chain is a challenge. But that's why we are here.
Yes, definitely. Also for you as a company that you have to dealing with that many entities instead of talking to one, and it's very time consuming, I guess, for your sales force.
Time consuming for the sales force that changes with specificities from north to south, where at least there is different mentalities, different approach. Logistically, it doesn't make it easier neither. So actually, as a distributor, we have a really big logistic role, and we really try to be a support for our retailers so they can have success in their market.
So what are the current projects within your company, how you tackle the issue? So what are your main goals at the moment?
We try to look on a sell-out way for the retail level. Definitely they are our customers, that's clear. But we feel that on a workshop level there is a need of support. Support in a very wide way. So our projects are linked to that. So we bring to them spare parts, okay, through the retailer. We bring them lubricants, okay. And now we need to bring them support. Support means technical support, means tools, means knowledge, trying really to be a helping hand to them and a commercial opportunity.
Yes, definitely. And I guess this is a really important topic because you might have seen that this year at Automechanica, e-commerce is a very, very big topic, and everyone is kind of complaining now my workshop is ordering spare parts online and not buying from my catalog, and it's only about pricing. But I tend to not agree. Yes, pricing plays a role in that, but you can't compete on the price anyway for most of the traditional traders, and then you need to find some other benefits for your customer.
Well, that's exactly the reality that we are facing. I'm not saying that Italy is highly invaded by the e-commerces. Of course, they are there and they're present and they're gaining market, definitely. But maybe because of the country, because of the mentality, the extra layer that is being given to the products, which can be the service, which can be the return policies, which can be even the payment terms. These are things that are really valued by the workshops and are actually restraining them to buy so much online. Although it's a phenomenon that is there, it's inevitable, but we need to be better and give something more, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, definitely, because it's there, and we've seen in other industries it's there to stay, so it's not going away. You can't just close your eyes and pretend it's not happening.
No, we've seen, I think, industries in other industries where that can have fatal consequences. So no, we are embracing the fact that it's there. We just try to be better, and we try to give them those things that they value that I just mentioned.
Definitely. And talking about the difficulties in the Italian market with all these smaller entities, how can digitization support them? So,
well, for sure, it's clue. It's key. I'm sorry to do that because that's one of the things that everybody has in its hands today. So building platforms, making sure that there is a common interest in that and they find their way is definitely a solution. It's not so easy because it's a change of mentality. We have to face the reality that the average age of the workshop is on the high side, which in general is not so open for digitalization or not so fast. But we have to go for that. There is no way.
Maybe it's also when a new generation of mechanics comes in, because often you hear, I don't have the time for doing something on the iPad. I don't have the time to use a laptop in here. I need to get it done fast, so I call you, or even they're sending out faxes still.
Still, yes. We as a company, we still have a fax number, which is actually a funny thing. It is. For sure, we are relying on the younger generation to do this. I'm afraid that there will be less younger generation, so there will be less actors, less entities on the market. So converting the existing one, we need to do it. And we can only do it by making it as easy as possible, by supporting them, by taking by the hand, and like that, to bring them to that.
Definitely. And digitization, I guess, as a supplier like you doesn't only play a role in getting your stuff out to the company, but also before, because you are sourcing. You have there's massive logistics behind it. You have this big hall full of product, and digitization really helps there as well.
It helps in both sides. Of course, we are connected with most of our suppliers, so there is automatic restocking. We have these systems in place. We're trying step by step to see if we can set the systems also down the chain, which is not so easy. But at least we are working with an e-commerce, with our own platform. It's a B2B platform, of course, where we can try step by step to bring people to that. We are achieving, because over 80% of the orders now are through our B2B platform, which was already, I think, a good result.
Yes, definitely. And other topics like the electrification, how do you think this will affect your business, especially in the lubricant sector?
Well, for lubricants, it's inevitable to say that it's a high challenge. It's a big challenge. I was looking at some numbers a few days ago that for Italian market we are expecting 12% of the car park to be fully electric by 2030. So it's not dramatic what is happening to us, but on a long term, for sure, if this is the tendency, and Fit for 55 is what is imposing it, on a long term, for sure, it's a market that tends to shrink drastically.
Yeah, I guess it will be difficult, or at least a challenge for some of the players, but others, they also see it, or have to see it as an opportunity, because I was talking to a tire guy earlier, and he said this is completely new opportunity, because electric cars, they need different tires, because they have different driving behavior, different acceleration behavior, and maybe also something in the tire industry becomes a topic like sustainability, or even tires where, I choose in the future, maybe I get an electric car, and then I choose a tire, and I want to see how does this specific tire affect my range, for example.
Yes.
And so in general for you, what role does sustainability play, that your products are sourced sustainable, like economical friendly? Do you think this will become more important in the future?
I think for sure it is. I don't think that today is a major concern for our customers, but I think it's inevitable to think that now in a few years it's something that for sure will be on the agenda, and that we also as a company we have to look after, to have suppliers that go into that direction.
Yes, definitely. Let's think about talking about the future. Let's think concretely about the future. If we would meet again at Automechanica 2030, so in 8 years from now, what would be the topics we are discussing?
It's a very nice question. I think for sure we will be looking at the market that will
Italy have won another football World Cup?
I hope so.
Which would be? I know you're not a big fan of football. We talked about it before, but I have to ask the question. So, the Italy or Belgium, who will win a football World Cup from now till 2030?
Well, for me, I'm always winner in this case, personally.
So we go for the Italians.
Let's go for the Italians, absolutely.
Okay. And how about the market? How will the market look?
Well, for sure we will be looking at a market that will be a lot smaller, that will be a lot more technical, and will be a lot more service driven. I'm afraid that some people we will not see again in 2030, unfortunately. Like we said before, we are a family, so that's an unfortunate thing.
Yes.
But I think that's a reality that we will face in that way.
We have to adapt.
And we have to adapt. I think now is the time to think about it, to reinvent ourselves. I think COVID even gave us a bit this reality check.
Yes.
And maybe even this time to make a point for ourselves where we are and where we want to stand by 2030, for example. And I think if we're now not making any steps or taking any decisions, I don't know if 2030 Automechanica will be for everybody, but
maybe we will be in the metaverse in 3D. That's something I heard as well before. But we will still have an interview. Thank you very much for taking the time today.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.